Hello everyone, we are from Group 5. We would like to explain about conceptualization and formulation in psycholinguistics subject. Before we start our explanation, we would like to introduce ourselves. Our members are Kesi Fitriana, Laeli Nurazni, and Shafantya Fais S. When we talk about conceptualization and formulation, it deals with the language production. What is language production? Language production is the production of spoken or written language. It describes all of the stages between having a concept and translating that concept into linguistic form. The production of speech is neurologically and psychologically more complicated. There are 4 stages of language production developed by Wilhelm Leffelt. The first is conceptualization, the second is formulation, the third is articulation, and the fourth or the last is self-monitoring. However, we are going to discuss only about conceptualization and formulation. First, conceptualization. What is conceptualization? A conceptual representation of what to say. That is the definition of conceptualization. Conceptualization encodes message into linguistic form. Select word to express concept. And we conceptualize what we wish to communicate. That all are the definition of conceptualization. Next. An American psycholinguist, David McNeil's investigations on an interesting mentalistic account of how speech is first conceptualized in human mind. Based on his theory, primitive linguistic concepts are formed as two concurrent and parallel modes of thought. They are syntactic thinking and imagistic thinking. What are the syntactic thinking and imagistic thinking? Syntactic thinking generates the sequence of words which we typically think of when we talk. It is segmented and linear and creates the strings of syllables, words, phrases, and sentences that together make up speech. While the imagistic thinking creates a more holistic and visual mode of communication. It is global and tends to develop the gestures which we naturally use to punctuate and illustrate our conversation. Before we talk about formulation, before we explained about formulation, we would like to give an example of conceptualization. There are dialogue between person A and person B. Person A say, "Where is my briefcase?" Person B answer, "There's your briefcase." When the person B said, "There is," in the utterance, "There is your briefcase," he pointed to the briefcase at the same time when he said, "There is." So, when person B said, "There is," he pointed to the briefcase. It means that there is the briefcase that he is pointed. So, when the person B said there is with pointing to the briefcase, it is the example of conceptualization. Okay, next, formulation. What is formulation? Formulation is the process of arranging what we want to say after we have concept in the mind. We formulate the thought into a linguistic plan. The identification of formulation process can be seen from leaps of tongue, like the mistake or spoonerism, named after William Spooner, that someone have in saying or writing something. The slips of tongue or typographical mistakes are normal in everyday occurrences in our speaking and writing. Spoonerisms are slips of tongue in which an actual word or phrase is created, often with a humorous twist to the meaning which was intended. The phenomena of slips of tongue, like mistakes and probably hesitation, for example, or it indicates that human brain or human mind have tried to formulate the concept of language before producing it, and by the occurrence of this we can notify that sometimes the formulation is not formulated well. For example, when we want to say something, we have the concept in our mind, we have the sentence in our mind, but we do not know how to represent our concept, how to say our concept. So we just said uh like that. That's that's the slips of tongue or typographical, sorry, or spoonerisms. Next. Formulation is the eventual output of speech conceptualization. Gestures plays a functional role in formulation of speech. Long-term memory resources are thought to be necessary for conceptualization, and verbal working memory resources are thought to necessary for formulation. Formulation is much easier to describe than the conceptualization. Why? Because analysis on eventual output of the process, such as speech error and the choice of words or sentence structures, can be a great help for understanding speech production. Word processing, sounds processing, lemmas, lexical entries for morpheme. That's all are dealing with the formulation. When we talk about formulation, formulation itself it's deal with the grammatical encoding, morphological encoding, and phonetic encoding. We think that's all of our explanation. We hope you all can understand and know the conceptualization and the formulation. Thank you very much for your attention. Goodbye.